You just sold the last puppy of your litter, so it's time to go trick some cash, right? Well, think again. If you want true longevity in your business, you must think long-term. Whether you are running your business as an LLC or as a sole proprietorship, you can't just go crazy and spend the money. There is important business to be handled first, so let's talk about it. What's up, guys? I'm Aaron with the Ron Frenchies. I'm just as excited as the next person once I have rehomed an entire litter. My reality, though, is I'm much more excited about the amount of rest I can get for the next few weeks than I am about the profits. This is because of two reasons. One, I have a long-term vision that I am very meticulous about and write down all of my goals and projections to ensure I'm putting myself in the best position to capitalize on opportunities. I have the discipline to keep my goals in perspective while staying flexible enough to adapt to the times, which keeps me humble because I'm not truly chasing profits. The second reason is because I have an accounting mind. I received my undergrad in accounting and spent 15 years operating at a high level in Fortune 100 companies where I learned to live in the margins. I use those skills and experience to help me operate in this realm, and I still operate and live in the margins, and in order to do so, I must have a deep understanding of my expenses. Let's be honest here. A litter of high-level French Bulldogs is all but sure to bring you in a five-figure amount, and it takes a certain level of discipline to stay the course and continue building to ultimately get to the next level of true profits that can set you up for larger investments in the future. If you do enough scrolling online, you will think everybody who sells French Bulldogs is rich and get into the bag like no other. The reality of it, from my perspective, is the more you see people showing you things that have nothing to do with the actual dogs that we all care so much about, the less energy they are putting into caring for and producing the best dogs they can. That's not always the case, but many times it is. A while back, I put out a poll on my page to see what everyone's first investment will be when it came to French Bulldogs, and I got some pretty interesting answers. Ultimately, not very many were interested in blowing the bag on cars, clothes, and jewelry, and instead were choosing to invest in the healthcare and emergency fees of future litters, as well as some wanting to invest in the overall breeding via stud fees. This was encouraging to see, but there can be so much more than just this. Let me explain. Obviously, the first investment for most people is actually the purchase of their first French Bulldog, and I am no different. I initially wanted to produce everything in-house, so about 6 months after purchasing my first male, I bought a female. You guys all know the story about what happened with the first female that I ever purchased, but in case you haven't had a chance to hear that story, you can click the link at the top right to hear about it. After researching this breed and seeing how delicate they were, my next investment was actually this incubator here. I was so scared of losing a puppy that I got one of these as soon as I found out about how well they kept your puppies and how useful they were throughout the whelping process, especially if something goes wrong. This was the path that I chose, and there are plenty of things that I didn't consider at the time that greatly increased my expenses. One of those being the fact that I would need to create some variety in my litters by outsourcing studs. With stud fees being anywhere between $1,500 to $5,000 for high quality studs, this was definitely not an expense I was ready to take on. This forced me to enter into contracts that required me to give my best puppy away from the litter, which ultimately cost a lot more than the stud fee in most cases, where someone could take away a puppy that you might have kept for your camp to produce more or higher quality dogs in the future, or took it and sold it for 2 or 3 times the amount of the original stud fee. Living in the margins forced me to quickly adjust to this and ensure my first investment from every litter goes towards future stud fees, which ultimately increases my margins without me having to increase my price. As you all know by now, I don't believe in taking the risk of allowing your French Bulldog to have a natural birth. I talk about this in the video here, so I make sure to place aside $1,000 to pay for a C-section when they are due. The one time I got caught off guard with a dog suddenly going into labor overnight, I lost the entire litter, so you may want to call around and get the cost of emergency vets that perform C-sections and place this amount aside for the potential for this to happen. Just keep in mind that in most cases, the expenses for those places are 2 to 3 times higher during those hours. In the year 2024 alone, I have spent almost $1,000 on progesterone testing, whether that was for breeding or checking for when my dog would go into labor. Not only does getting one of these cost between $2,500 to $7,000, necessary to save money, it can also become a revenue stream, as investing in a more expensive machine mixed with a little marketing will allow me to get clients that are willing and trusting to get their progesterone test from me. Although I don't know which machine to get, it's 100% on my radar for 2025, as I plan on eliminating this expense as well as the travel involved in getting them so often. Marketing your dogs is an entirely separate video, but I wasn't happy with my options in taking videos and photos of my puppies. I started out taking videos and photos with a Sony a7 III, which is a fine camera. The issue was I only had the 10 to 14 millimeter kit lens that came with it, which really wasn't designed to take great photos from an outside distance. That mixed with only having a 24 megapixel lens made me decide to sell my camera, which was still in great shape, so I got top dollar on it in the secondary market. I purchased this 24 to 105 millimeter f4 lens here and immediately saw better results. Although I downgraded cameras and I used a cropped lens camera, the ZV-10, that is normally stationary in my studio to take my videos and photos, I positioned myself to purchase the Sony a7 IV as soon as it drops in the next 6 months to take my photos and videos to a completely different level. Because of how I operate, these expenses are weighed against my revenue, which helps soften the tax blow as well as increase the quality of my productions and marketing at the same time. Breeding dogs can open up so many doors for you, as you can create more revenue streams than just having puppies if you are smart and intentional with your money. With this being said, you may want to consider operating as an LLC as opposed to a sole proprietorship. This is in no way financial advice, but there are considerably more financial benefits to operating this way than pocketing the money for yourself, from expense savings to tax benefits to obtaining better financial resources from banks with better terms. There are many more ways to reinvest your money that I didn't explain in detail in this video, from online marketing to traveling to dog shows to having emergency vet funds, as well as other intangible things that have a direct impact on improving your business, like upgrading facilities or outsourcing work to attract more buyers. I may go over many of these and more in a future video, but I wanted everyone to understand that the best thing you can do to help grow your business and increase the quality of your productions and operation is saving your money, having a plan, and reinvesting back into yourself. Once you do this, you will find out that you aren't making anywhere near the kind of profit that you might believe comes with selling French Bulldog puppies, but can ultimately give your business staying power, a better reputation for quality, and leave you flexible enough to adapt and capitalize on opportunities in the future, which can be more profitable. One of those opportunities may come down to somebody selling their entire camp because they can't keep up with the pace. Opportunities like this don't come about often, but if you're cash strong and you save your money, you may find yourself getting dogs wholesale if you can take them onto your camp. In summary, reinvesting the profits from your first litter or any litter that you rehome is a critical step in building a successful breeding business. It requires careful consideration, research, and a willingness to take calculated risks. By exploring different options, prioritizing quality, and making informed decisions, you can set yourself up for long-term success. What's been your experience with reinvestment? What challenges have you faced and what lessons have you learned? Share your stories in the comments below, and don't forget to check out my previous videos for more insights into the world of French Bulldog breeding. If you really want an in-depth and detailed look into French Bulldogs, please take a look at becoming a member of my community, which you can find in the first link in the description below. This will allow you to have much more direct access to me and it'll help you on your journey. Also, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my page so you can check out more videos about breeding French Bulldogs. Thanks for watching.